Imagine you were living in the first century. You're a disciple of Messiah. The world around you, what's it filled with? Gods, cults, religions, pagan morality, Roman Empire. It's a culture where the weak were killed. Children were aborted. They were or left to be exposed as infants, to die. Sexual immorality reigns. Believers are marginalized, looked as intolerant, looked on persecuted, vilified. A world filled with substitutes for God, substitutes for the gospel, and substitutes for the resurrection. The pagan world had gods in their mythology that died and rose from death. The Egyptian had the god Osir or Osiris. Evil brother of him was Set, the god Set, who was jealous, had a plot, had a banquet, brought in a chest, said anybody who can fit in the chest can have it. Osiris says, oh, let me look, puts him in. He gets sealed up, thrown in the Nile, gets killed, dead. His wife Isis then causes him to be resurrected or come back to life. Land of Mesopotamia, Babylon, Assyria, they worship the god Tammuz. You've heard of him? He's in the Bible. Actually, a Hebrew month is named after this. Tammuz, loved by the goddess Ishtar, a goddess who was very dysfunctional. She ends up causing his death. He's forced to descend to the underworld, then he comes back. So for time, they mourn in the Middle East for Tammuz. That's what Ezekiel discovered in the temple before judgment came. They're actually mourning for this god, Tammuz, all over the Middle East. And then he comes back. What about the Greeks? The Greco-Phoenician mythology, they had a god named Adonis. You've heard the name, Adonis? Where do you get that? When they speak of a young man, a heartthrob, a star called an Adonis. Where does it come from? He's a god in this mythology who went out hunting, was killed by a wild boar. He descends to death. Every year he's mourned, comes back. What does Adonis come from? Take away the S and what do you get? Adonai. It's a substitute for the Lord. And the Greeks had a god called Dionysus, god of revelry, drinking, rejoicing. One day the other gods are jealous. They kill him. They tear him up. He ends up coming back, resurrected by Zeus. And so even the Germanic peoples had a god, Wotan. We get the word Wednesday from that god. And he hangs on a tree, not crucified, but hung. And he dies and comes back. So the charge is made by those against the gospel to this day. The gospel is just borrowing this. It's copying this. That's all it is. Are there similarities? Yes. How do you respond to that? Well, the first thing is this. Where are all those faiths today? What Egyptian worships Osiris today? None. What Iraqi worships Tammuz today? None. What Lebanese worships Adonis? None. What Greek worships Dionysus? None. Yet all across this planet today, people are celebrating from every tribe and tongue the resurrection of the Messiah, Jesus. Amen? You can't compare that.